What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to an episode of The Bird's Nest. I'm your host, Magpie. This is Condor, and we are here on a very interesting NFL divisional round weekend. Condor, what's going on, buddy?
A lot of sports, a lot of great things, a lot of good matchups, a lot of controversy. Just
A
it's
lot
it's a
of
great time.
controversy. A lot of controversy. A lot of controversy. So, just want to let you guys know this is brought to you by Velocity Sports, one of the hottest sports podcasting networks that is up and coming right now. Make sure that you guys follow on Facebook, okay? Make sure you also subscribe to YouTube if you guys aren't already. So let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. Let's talk about these divisional round matchups, right? Of course, we have on Saturday, we have the Cincinnati versus Tennessee at 4:30. Green Bay versus San Fran at 8:15 on Fox. So, Condor, give us the rundown on these two matchups tomorrow.
So we got obviously Tennessee or Cincinnati travel into Tennessee. Tennessee is favored by 3.5, which is going to be interesting to watch. I think if Tennessee doesn't come out and I guess set themselves early, kind of wake up from this, little mini bye week that they just had, having last week off. They could find themselves in a hole early against this Bengals team. And, everyone says you don't want to play Kansas City. They throw out points, shootout. This Bengals team throws out points just like Kansas City does. So the last thing you want to do is get down early. They do have Derrick Henry back. They did activate him officially. What was it? I believe an hour and a half ago, they officially reactivated him off IR, and he is expected to start when the offense hits the field on Saturday.
All right.
What are your thoughts on that? Who do you got? Where are you at?
Well, so I'm hearing that the Tennessee Titans Stadium has raised up the prices on the tickets, and that's pretty much to keep any Cincy fans at home base and not overcrowd the stadium. Right now, tickets are starting at $256 per seat. So
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
But it is a playoff game. That's
here.
not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But 256 for a nosebleed seats, I'd rather stay home. I don't know about anybody else.
True.
But I'd rather stay home. But here are my picks. For Saturday. I have actually hold on, wait. I have to change that. Give me 1 second. I meant to update it because I had the matchups wrong. But I did have Cincy over Tennessee. You have San Fran over Green Bay.
Hang on, we'll pause there. So I will go with, let's just break down this first one here real quick. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to who can put up them points and get it done. And the way that Joe Burrow and the Bengals have been playing over, we'll say the last couple weeks, they want to shoot out against Kansas City. They've been playing big. You have Jamar Chase just smoking defenses right now. They have a huge win last week, snapped that 31-year drought, playoff victory. I think they string it together to 2, push them to the AFC Championship. We talk about superstars. You talk about having quarterbacks who want to take you to the next level, and the guys who are ready for those moments. I don't think enough people realize who Joe Burrow is and give him credit for this situation. Like, this dude is ready for this moment, and he's going to show everyone tomorrow. Like, he's going to come out, and this team's going to be just red hot. I just have this feeling. Like, he's a winner, man. He's a winner. You can see it. He has that. Everyone says that it factor. Joe Burrow has that it factor. Not only does he make people better around it, but he makes the plays you need him to make. And that arm, man, that kid has talented arm. It's pretty nasty to watch.
So here's the question that I do want to ask about Joe Burrow, because this question was actually asked on social media. Is that we seen the injury last year with you seen the injury last year with his his season ended pretty early last season, and everybody was saying whether or not he will bounce back. And we seen the struggles in the beginning, but the way this team has shaped up, even with the situation with the offensive line, these guys are in the playoffs. They're still smacking people down with tremendous yardage and putting points on the board. I would say that right now, Joe Burrow is saying that he was the best option in that draft as far as quarterback. I don't think that Cincy is regretting going for Joe Burrow.
No, why would you? Again, he just snapped a 31-year playoff victory drought that Andy Dalton made it to 4 playoff games and couldn't win one. This dude
Exactly.
this dude came back from a devastating knee injury, got better, and said, "I'm ready to take that next step. Let's go." Like, I'm telling you, man, I just have. It's interesting. It sucks. Albatross can't be here tonight. He will be here next week. We have, our show. I think is going to be on a Saturday next week. That's what it's sounding like.
Absolutely.
Heads up. Hint, 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 hint. Everybody out there. Oh. Um, but me and him talked about it. It's funny because coming into the draft last year or 2 years ago with Burrow, his draft class, I kept telling Albatross, this is the guy that you want. Like, everyone's going to kind of say, oh, well, he had one season. It's a flash in the pan, No. This kid can make the throws. Again, he's ready for the moment. He has ice in his veins when it matters most. Like, again, he has the it factor. He has that moxie. Like, he walks around because he knows he can be the guy. Like, it's funny. He reminds me of like a Joe Namath.
Right.
That he totally reminds me of that. Just a flashy guy, but he can back it up because he can take his team and win. I think that's what we're seeing. I love it. And he's also a classy guy too. When he's got to be class. He's all class. When he's allowed to be himself. He's a real cool dude, down to earth. Love him. At the same time, when it comes down to it, I don't think Ryan Tannehill's ready. He failed in the AFC Championship game when he had the opportunity, and this team, I don't know. At times they play well, they play physical, but again, I don't think relying on Derrick Henry is going to be your savior tomorrow when you don't have enough guys to cover the wide receivers and tight ends for the Cincinnati Bengals. You can double Jamar
Absolutely.
Chase, but what are you going to do with Tyler Boyd and T Higgins and TJ Uzama?
So the big question is, because I do want to really, before we move on, I want to really shed some light on Joe Burrow. Like for real, like I love this kid, right? He has 4,600 yards, 4,611 yards to be exact. 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and a QBR of 54.5. That is very impressive for a kid who had an early season due to injury last season and was able to bounce back and still outshine most of these veterans that are in the game right now.
Yep.
And the future is bright. The future is bright for Joe Burrow. I just think that Bengals this offseason, Bengals need to focus on one location on that team. And I
Yep.
think we can all agree it's that offensive line.
Oh, I agree 100%. 100%. And it's funny, last little random little tidbit here that I found out the other day. I was talking to my chiropractor here in town and I was talking about Joe Burrow, and he's like, I'm pretty sure Joe Burrow was born in Iowa. I'm like, no, he wasn't. You're full of it. Sure as crap. Joe Burrow was born in Ames, Iowa. His dad was a longtime coordinator for Iowa State. He was a coordinator in college for over 40 years.
Oh
So
wow.
Joe Burrow knows the game of football.
Oh yeah. I mean you can see it. You can see it. You can
Yeah.
see it on the field. So
hmm I'm excited, man. I really am. Like, I'm kind of becoming a closet Bengals fan because I'm so disappointed in my franchise right now. But I really like what's going on over there in Cincinnati. I like Joe Mixon too. That's the thing. No one talks enough about Joe Mixon right now, and he was all the talk in Cincinnati. Oh, Joe Mixon, Joe Mixon, and now he's kind of taking a back seat to Burrow and the boys. So it's like it's kind of good for him. It kind of allows him to kind of go under the radar. Put your head down and grind, man. Show that you can be one of those premier backs again.
Do you think it's because mainly that when you talk about Cincy, they don't get the publicity like we all thought that like they would. So
Yeah.
so when you see Cincy and when you see them doing so well, they're so successful this season. The sky's the limit for these guys. They have to keep fighting it. This is a tough matchup against Tennessee, but I think they can pull it off. And if they can pull it off, they have a conference championship on their hands.
And I totally think again. Here's my statement of the day. The winner of Tennessee Cincinnati is going to the Super Bowl. And I say this
Ooh, that's a
because of
hot pick right there.
it is. But I think it's going to be Cincinnati, man. This offense is so potent. It is so potent, and the defense can actually complement the offense when they need it to. It's not one of those defenses that's like, oh, they're red hot smoke and they're going to do everything today. Oh, well, they're like Miami, they're going to carry them all day because the offense is junk. Like, no, like this defense has a way of grinding out a 3-and-out when they need it. The offense gets rolling and they steal a possession back, or the game's getting close and they get a stop on fourth down and swing momentum. Like, they're very opportunistic and find ways to get the job done. And I think that's what's going to be
Absolutely.
keys. That's going to be a huge key because look what they did against Patrick Mahomes when they went and played against, Kansas City and all that. They were able to get them off the field at times. It was a shootout, but they still got stops against that offense when it was hot. That's not something that every defense can do. So, you kind of got to look at that from a different angle. We will transition here real quick to this 49ers game because there's a lot of interesting little facts about this game that not a lot of people know. So I don't know the time frame and the period of time, excuse me, regarding this record, but in prime time, the last 17 primetime games that the Packers have played, they're 15-2 all time.
Wow.
Their two losses are to the San Francisco 49ers.
Mm.
Can you
That says a
name
lot.
can you name the one team that Aaron Rodgers has not beaten in the postseason?
No.
The San Francisco
The
49ers.
San Francisco 49ers.
They are totally the kryptonite, man. I don't know what it is about the 49ers and the Packers, but it is like this ghost that comes up on Aaron Rodgers at the last minute. Everything is good and they're playing so well, and then here come the 49ers and they just steamroll them and they're like, "Bye, have a nice day. We'll see you next year."
Yeah.
Let's if we look back at the last two times this happened, look how bad they got steamrolled. They got ran all over last time the 49ers went to Green Bay. And what's even better is everyone wants to say that Jimmy Garoppolo he's going to struggle in these cold weather conditions. He can't do this. First of all, he learned from again Tom Brady. We forget about that, and playing in New England, and he's played in games that were negative 20 degrees before. Jimmy himself came out and he's like, "It's funny listening to people tell me I can't play in cold weather games." He's like, "I love playing in cold weather. I can't wait for this weekend." Like, Jimmy and these boys, dude, there's something about this team that was missing the last couple times this team had made runs. We saw what the 49ers, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, make it the Super Bowl. They lost
Mm-hmm.
to the Chiefs.
Yep.
I think this is what we're seeing again. We're seeing this team hit that stride again, but this is kind of a grittier team. There's better leaders in the places that you need, and your guys are performing. And you have a guy. It's funny because I'm gonna steal I'm stealing some thunder here, for Albatross because he's not here to represent. So he's been just raving about it. Do you know the how similar of a body composition that Deebo Samuel has to Marshawn Lynch?
No,
It's exact. Like he is like a replica Marshawn Lynch.
I believe it. I mean, the guy can run. He can run the ball. He has tremendous skills as a ball carrier, and then but he's a wide receiver. That's what
Yeah.
makes it scary. He's a wide receiver with running with a running back skills. And I like Debo Samuel. Always liked the guy. Always knew that he was going to be He was going to be amounted to what he is today. Like this kid has 77 receptions, 1,400 yards in receiving, only 6 touchdowns, but averaging 18.2 yards per game.
He's a monster.
His skills. His skills alone is an understatement of what this kid is, and he's only 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a clip that Condor shared with me, and it's actually very funny because Debo Samuel actually asked for the ball when they were playing against Dallas. He asked for the ball and he
They
scored
told
right
him.
after.
He said
Right?
it's happening. Let's
He
get
said,
it.
yeah, he said it was happening. So without further ado, I am going to show this clip here. 1 second. But this kid is nice. This kid is amazing. His future is bright. San Fran just needs to do a little bit key things for this offense. One being one letting Trey Lance out the gate next season. You let this kid out the gate, you build your offensive line, you get a stable running back crew. I like Elijah. I like Elijah Mitchell. I like the kid. He has a lot of spunk in him, and I also like the fact that Mostert will be back next season. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely stay tuned in San Fran. And here's a clip for with Debo Samuel. 1 second.
Garoppolo in the gun. Debo Samuel left. And they hand off to Debo. Hey, go! 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 We know. Put his shit in the box right now. Let's go put the ball in the box. Let's go. Garoppolo in the gun. Debo Samuel left. And they hand off to Debo coming to the right. Gets a block from Brunskill. A cut back by Debo. Debo 10. Debo 5. Touchdown! Cisco!
Oh my goodness. You get 3 great blocks in front of Debo Samuel, and then it's just his vision, his willpower.
Yeah, his vision is just so nasty, dude. So nasty. Just to see that cutback lane right there and to have the speed to beat that guy to hit that seam for the touchdown, like just raw talent. Raw talent. Like I love watching the kid play. Like it's funny because obviously, Albatross being my brother, I've grown up pretty much watching a couple teams pretty much throughout my life, Chargers, Bears, Dolphins, 49ers, and it's like I've watched the 49ers lose 2 Super Bowls in the last 10 years. And it's like I think that they can totally make it over the hump with this team. I think Jimmy, it's funny people want to bag on Jimmy all the time, but Jimmy
Right.
plays very well in crunch time. When they need him to make a play, he usually makes a play for him.
But the thing is with Jimmy Garoppolo, my issue with him is that you can't always be the guy that put your team in a bad situation
It's true.
and have to wait until it's 5 minutes left in the game to want to battle for crunch time. You do a very good job. You do a very good job of getting these comeback wins, but you gotta learn to close out a game early, then wait to the last second. And
It's true.
I like Jimmy. I believe that he can be a better quarterback, but I think that this season it was the season to bridge out from Jimmy Garoppolo, and Trey Lance will be the guy next season. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo will be a 49ers quarterback next season. I do think they will trade him. I do think they will trade him. So, that's my take on that. While we're talking about San Fran, their matchup against the Cowboys was interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was just me. It was very interesting. It was so great to see that San Fran was able to pull this one out, because we thought that Dallas was the highly favored one. Dallas was the highly favored guys. They had all their starters. Their offensive line was top key. So nothing could go wrong in Dallas. Nothing can go wrong in Dallas, but something
And yet
did
it
go wrong.
all went wrong. Oh,
Something went wrong, and I'm gonna hit it here in 3 keys. Right. First thing first is the coaching. The coaching was bad. There was Mike McCarthy has poor time management skills, and Kellen Moore, he's too conservative for his own good. He is in fact due for a head coaching job. I don't think that he is fit to be a head coach yet. I don't think he's fit to be a head coach yet. I think he needs to stay in Dallas and be the offensive coordinator, or give him the head coaching job in Dallas where he's comfortable at. Don't allow him to go to another team, because that team will be in shambles. That's just my take on it. The second key is Mike McCarthy finally came out and said that Ezekiel Elliott was injured in week 4, and he hasn't been right since. If that's the case, you don't play this guy. You don't play this guy. You minimize his time on the field and allow Tony Pollard, who's been one of the best backup running backs in the season. He's been one of the most efficient backup running backs in the season. How do you not utilize it? It's a head scratcher. It's definitely a head scratcher, because officially this guy only ran 6 times in this game.
It's terrible.
How is it that when you have an injured Ezekiel Elliott that is not 100%, Tony Pollard should have touched that ball at least 14, 16 times, which he didn't, and that is one of the reasons why he lost. Another key thing is the last key is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott. Dot. Dak Prescott. The reason why I say that is because if you watch the game, I'm not sure again why there was a quarterback sneak with 14 seconds left. These San Fran defenders is gonna crowd your body for you not to get up. They're gonna stop you from getting to the line. And then what's also the crazy part is how do you not know the NFL rules and regulations on how an NFL play goes? At the end of every play, you give the ref the ball to set the ball. You don't set your own ball. And that was the mistake that happened, and that is why they couldn't get the ball off in time.
I personally think oh man, I think it was set for Dak to get like a quick little 5 yards to get the first down, and then be able to take a shot. But when he went to go take that run, if you go back and look at first, there was a bunch of green grass there. So I think Dak's like, oh my goodness, green grass, I can make a play. Oh, I can't make a play, slide. Like I think he had like
14 seconds left.
I think he kind of had a hesitation moment. He wasn't really, living in the, live for the next down. Like he just trying to do too much, and then, we can get right into that next part. Those comments about the whole people in Dallas throwing trash on the field. Like he's like, oh,
that was trash.
Oh, it's a bad thing if it's about the players. And they're like, oh, we're pretty sure it's about the officials. Oh, that's okay. Kudos to them. Like, what?
Yeah.
First of all, your team should be better prepared and not have 16 penalties in one game, okay? Mm-hmm. That's not on the ref's fault. That's on your guys' fault for being unprepared. It's totally on you. You're playing a talented 49ers team. Yeah, prepare and show up. If not, get the hell off the field.
16 penalties, and the defense caused 14 of those. That's what I call lack of discipline on that defense. There's lack of discipline. Honestly, they're missing Rob Marinelli in this instance. That's who they're missing. Because
Mhm.
Rob Marinelli had these guys in tip-top shape. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, that's when you know that there's a lack of discipline with this defense. And something will have to change in this offseason, whether it's a change of scenery or a change of coaching, however you do it. But this defense have to you have the talent. That's the thing that made me very upset is because these guys have the talent. They have one of the best, arguably, one of the best defenses in the season.
Mhm.
Arguably. You got Michael Parsons. This guy has exceeded expectations. Exceeded expectations. Then you got Trayvon Diggs.
Beyond.
Again, exceeded expectations. Top guy interception. I think he had 11, 12 interceptions
Mhm.
during the season. Amazing. And so, and what do? You have a lack of discipline. You have 14 penalties. It's not good. Dak Prescott calls out the officials on Twitter. Simply, you just can't do that. I'm sorry. It's not cool. You can't do that. Dak Prescott calls out the official. And then afterwards, he apologizes. And everybody's like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, it is,
It
though.
is.
It is a big deal because you made the mistake. You made the mistake and you lost the game for your team. I
Mhm.
get it that the defense did have 14 penalties, so it is on the defense. But at that moment,
Don't be that guy.
don't be that guy. So at the end of the day, I think honestly we move past this, and hopefully there was a lesson learned. I think McCarthy need to go. I don't think McCarthy will be the head coach in Dallas during the next season.
Or he will be, but he'll get fired like mid-season.
That too.
I could
That
totally
too.
see that being the case.
But about the San Fran and Green Bay matchup,
Mhm.
I like it. I like this matchup because this is something that Green Bay will have to actually prove. Are they good enough? Are they good enough to overcome the San Fran team?
Mhm.
Um, when you look at San Fran on paper, they don't have the guys there. I'm not sure if Fred Warner will be healthy. Not sure what the status on.
Fred Warner got cleared today 100%. He has no injury designation.
All right, that's a good thing, right? But then you got to look at Bosa. What's the status on Bosa? Will
Same.
Bosa be available?
Or no, it was Bosa. Sorry. I flipped that. I apologize. I haven't heard anything on Warner. Bosa is the one who cleared concussion protocol. He is 100%.
See,
Excuse me.
and these are the things that you definitely, you got to look at because these are the things that's going to matter, right?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, Bosa is cleared.
The Packers
So
activated Zadarius Smith and Marcellus Whitney.
see, and this is why it's going to be a very interesting game.
Hmm.
Everybody's getting their starters back. The Green Bay, they're getting their starters back. They had a chance to rest a little bit. They had a chance to rest a little bit, so that's a good thing. And not only that, they got their offensive line back. They got some offensive linemen back. So the sky's the limit for this game. But I like San Fran better. I like the idea that San Fran can pull this one off because I think that I need to really see San Fran win another Super Bowl. That's just me. I want to see San Fran win another Super Bowl. I think they're far more deserving. I think they deserve to, come up but they don't right now. I don't think they have the personnel. And Green Bay isn't no slouch. This is the big stage for Aaron Rodgers. This is the time for Aaron Rodgers to say this won't be like the last time, and he will overcome the 49ers and he could possibly win. But I'm going with San Fran.
Sorry about that. I was over here dying, having a coughing attack. I needed some water.
No problem. No problem. So yeah, I'm going with San Fran. That's my pick for this game.
Absolutely. I'm taking I'm taking Cincinnati first game, and I'm taking the 49ers the second game. I could easily see it being a walk-off field goal, Robbie Gould, kicking one in Lambeau, sending the 49ers to the championship game.
All right. So Condor got Cincy, and he got San Fran winning with the Robbie Gould field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And let's transition over to this San Fran and Rams game. Honestly, I think that is the most marketable and the best game of this weekend is Rams versus Bucks. It's my opinion. I think that is the best game this weekend because you get to see a matchup that you normally don't see. You got Matt Stafford with the Rams, Sean McVay, and you got Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, and the Buccaneers. So it's this is a monumental game in my eyes because you don't see Matt Stafford and Brady going at it in the playoffs. You just don't see things like that.
No, and I think I'm glad it's happening because this is a good thing for Stafford. I'm glad he was able to get that playoff win last week, but you're going into Tampa Bay and you're about to run up against good old TB12 and them boys. Oh wait, that was supposed to be Dallas. Too bad. Oh no, but for real, the Bucks. Brady always finds a way to get things done. They got rid of Antonio Brown because he threw his little fit and disagreements with our Arians and blah, 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 whatever you want to chalk it up as. But then you had Chris Godwin. He's done for the season. They were still able to find a way to get it done. And they will. Gronkowski becomes a bigger part of that offense. You still got Mike Evans. You still got people who can run the ball. So I think Leonard Fournette is actually returning, but Ronald Jones is inactive. So we'll have to kind of pay attention to that. But I see the Bucks taking care of business and Brady getting back to the NFC Championship game. I mean, this is the defending champs, and they do know how to take care of business. So just watch for them to come out on Sunday and punch the Rams in the mouth like they don't like.
You know what? So you got Tampa, right?
So you got the Rams.
Yep. You already know. I got Matt Stafford on this, and people call me crazy because people say that, Tampa Bay, they got the refs in their pocket because of Brady. I think that stipulation is overcame by the Rams. I mean, you got to think about it, right? Tampa Bay has been very shoddy with their offensive line. And right now, I mean, the Rams has been just very dominant, very aggressive with their front seven, Aaron Donald, Floyd, all these guys, and their secondary. Boy, I don't even want to begin to talk about this secondary.
For real,
it's a complete package over there. They're in LA with the Rams. Their defense is a complete package, and I think that they will give Brady some big problems. This is going to come down to the wire. And I think this will come to an overtime game. And I think the Rams is going to win in overtime. I love this game because both of these games has, two guys that is, like I said before, you normally don't see, like you have a matchup between Stafford and Brady. Stafford has 4,886 yards, 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. And Tom Brady, 5,300 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. So these two guys are going back and forth on Sunday. And then you got the running backs. You got Sony Michel. Then you got Leonard Fournette. Sonny Michel got 845 yards in rushing and 4 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette had 812 and 8 touchdowns. And then we go to their receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
Their receiving core together is nasty, right? Because you got multiple receivers who can get the job done. Who can get the job done? So you have Cooper on the Ram side. You have Cooper Cup, who I really don't have to really even explain the efficiency of Cooper Cup. I don't even have to explain to it, right?
It's true.
But then towards the middle of the season, what happens? Sean McVay goes out and calls another wide receiver. Who's that wide receiver? Odell Beckham Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Odell Beckham Jr. comes out and he just it's like it's like we're starting to see this old Odell Beckham, right? This guy
Mm-hmm.
he comes in the league and he just comes in and he's just playing phenomenal right now. He's been injured most of the season. He has 305 yards, but in the postseason and towards the end of the season, he's been very effective. He's
Oh
been
yeah,
very effective with this
100%.
with this wide receiver core that they have, with Van Jefferson stepping up as the other guy. We also had Deshaun Jackson a little bit, Robert Woods, and then Tyler Higbee. So, I mean, again, I don't think I have to really explain about this Rams receiving core. I mean, this receiving core is by far one of the best in the league.
I can see that. I can see that for sure. I like it. I like it. We'll definitely be talking about these outcomes in next week's show. So make sure we tune in for that. Because that'll be an interesting one since we disagree on that. So let's see if we agree or disagree on this last one, sir. We will transition to Buffalo and Kansas City. Rematch from week 4, week 5.
Yes. So, man, this was difficult for me. I was very, very hesitant on picking this because, man, I mean, these guys, both of these teams, we were asking in the beginning, were they the guys? Are they it? Have they been exploited? And everybody was like, oh, these guys aren't that good. This is in the beginning of the season. Well, these guys about to duke it out in the divisional round.
It's
The
true.
second half of the season, these guys have said, let me shut these haters up and let me bounce up. And both of these teams bounced up. 11-6 Buffalo Bills, 12-5 Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, these two guys,
It's true.
these two teams alone has just been phenomenal. Been playing great football. The coaching, I cannot even begin to explain the coaching. I don't have to really talk about Andy Reid, but I will talk about Sean McDermott and offensive coordinator Badu. Those two guys as a tandem works well with this offense that they have. I mean, Josh Allen, who'd have thought, right? Who'd have thought we'd be talking about Josh Allen a couple of years later after being drafted? Who'd have thought we'd be talking about Josh Allen? Josh Allen right now, 4,400 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. Pat Mahomes, 4,800 yards, 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I would love to see the battle between Diggs and Hill. Both of them got over 1,200 yards. Diggs has 10 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill has 9. I mean, the tape
All
again.
right. You ready for this? So, wait, who you taking? Sorry.
I am going to go Buffalo.
Hey.
I'm going Buffalo.
So, agreed. That's where we're at here. We both got Buffalo on this. But here's the best part. So, we're all talking about these big names. We're talking about Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce, and, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. X factor of this game is going to be a man by the name of Dawson Knox, tight end
Yes.
for the Buffalo. He is their little wild card who, Man, this dude finds a way to make plays for this team when things seem to be kind of falling apart or kind of going, breaking loose, and he makes a play and brings it all back together. When he's on the field, this team is better. You saw it last week when Josh Allen thought he threw the ball away and Knox jumps up, grabs it for a touchdown. The kid finds a way, like I said, to make plays when you think nothing's there. He will definitely be the X factor in this. We've already seen Buffalo travel to Kansas City and lay the smackdown on this team. If you go down there and you punch them in the mouth, they will not like it, nor can they withstand it. Patrick Mahomes is good. He has moments where he's great, but he doesn't have moments where he can run down the field and run over, linebackers because he's 6'5", 230 as a quarterback. Josh Allen is going to be having a big old day running all over these boys when they think they're going to play man coverage and they have their backs turned. It's going to be a slide on out the backside. I'm going to gain 20 yards on you.
That's
again. This team is ready for this moment. If we forget, the last time these two teams played was the AFC Championship game. Kansas City won, Buffalo lost, and there was a guy who stayed on the sidelines and watched, and his name's Stefon Diggs. I expect him to have a big game also. He's ready to get that victory to get back to that AFC Championship game. So ultimately, we have Cincinnati and Buffalo. Who's the higher of seed on that? Is it Buffalo or I can't remember? I feel like Cincinnati.
I think Buffalo. I think Buffalo is number 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope.
If I'm not mistaken.
Tennessee's 1, Kansas City's 2, and I couldn't remember if it was Cincinnati 3 or if it was Buffalo 3. Because if it's Cincinnati and Buffalo, then I think we might have Buffalo traveling to Cincinnati. So while you work on that, yep, Cincinnati's a 3 seed.
No, Cincinnati is the 4th, and Bills is the 3rd.
Cincinnati would travel to Buffalo if it is indeed Cincinnati-Buffalo who wins this weekend, which it would be an interesting matchup. You'd have 2 explosive offenses, and whatever defense wants to show up and take care of business, we might see it. I said Cincinnati is going to be the one to win, this and that. I think that's my dark horse pick. But if Buffalo comes out and they do what they did to New England, if they beat the crap out of Kansas City the way that they dismantled the Patriots, I think we need to just chalk up the Bills winning the Super Bowl because no one's going to beat a team that's dismantling teams like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's just say I have the Bucks because, the GOAT, that's really why I took them, but that's that. So then we'd have it interesting enough. We'd have the 49ers, traveling to Tampa Bay. We'd have the disciple going to play the mentor,
Oh.
Can't tell me that would be good for business.
Yeah, that is marketable. But I mean, who wouldn't want to see Jimmy G and Matt Stafford duke it out?
We've already seen that twice this year, though.
I mean, yeah, but who wouldn't want to see these two duke it out, though?
Again? The Rams don't want to see it because every time the Rams play the 49ers, they run all over them, and it's not a good thing.
Well, what if Green Bay wins?
It would be something. It'll
be a while since we've seen Aaron Rodgers go up against Matt Stafford. That'd be a nice little reunion. That'd be a nice little reunion right there. But yeah, man, cool. This is.
So let's wrap up the NFL side of things here with a quick run through of the head coaching carousel. That is the beginning of the offseason already. It's crazy that we are in the middle of the postseason, but we already have 8 teams open with head coaching vacancies. One of them being a big head scratcher with the logo on my my hat here. I'm not sure why Brian Flores was let go, but Miami doesn't want to be winners, that's for sure. And that's my how I'm going to keep it PG on that. Interesting enough, Flores actually is going to, or was up in New York today, visiting the Giants for their head coaching job. So you better hope that doesn't happen, or they're going to be all over you guys. Last thing you want is beef flow in your division.
So here's the crazy thing, right? Here's the crazy thing, is
give me the
that,
6 piece. Love you.
The crazy thing is, man, this head coaching thing, right? It's kind of a bit of a head scratcher, because it's like you want to see these guys get hired. You want to see these guys do something, right? So right now, the Panthers is looking at Ben McAdoo to be hired as the offensive coordinator.
Might not be a bad thing.
The Giants has also made Joe Schoen the general manager. They just announced that they hired Joe Schoen as the new general manager. So now the question is Joe Schoen is going to bring over Purdue as the head coach for the Giants? Yeah, that's something that you got to look at. And there's something you got to look at. The Carolina Panthers has also interviewed Jay Gruden the second time for the head coaching position, or the offensive coordinator position. The thing is that one of the biggest jobs right now is the Chicago Bears. Is the Chicago Bears right now, and the Denver Broncos. Okay. And, both of these guys alone has interviewed a wide range of different coaches.
Yep.
The Bears has interviewed Byron Leftwich, Doug Peterson, Dan Quinn, Brian Flores been at the top of that list, and even Jim Caldwell. We haven't heard that name in a while.
Jim Caldwell's going to get a job. I think he's going to get a job. This little carousel is going to bring him back into the league. Interesting enough, I'm going to throw the Miami into that mix of big teams because of the talent that we have down there. You have back-to-back winning seasons. You're progressing in the right direction. Like, you're not coming into a situation where you're saying, hey, tear it down and rebuild. You're having a situation where you're saying, come in and fix our offense. You already have a defense, complete the winning team. That's kind of what's going on there. Now, is it a high bar to set? Yeah, it's a huge bar to set. I don't know. I don't know who you bring in to do that. A lot of people are saying, well, Doug Peterson's won a championship. He has, history with Dan Marino, I guess, has history with him. So they're saying that's a possibility. They're talking about Brian Dabble, of course, because he was the offensive coordinator for Tua at Alabama. The organization came out and said that Tua will be the starting quarterback next season for this team. So whoever's coming in is going to have to use him as the guy. Now, the interesting thing about that is you can say, hey, let's put everything we have into making things right. Let's give this kid the start, the actual fresh start he needs, instead of having a head coach that half believes in him. Let's give him the offensive line. Let's fix his weapons to where we actually have more than one guy, Jalen Waddle, on the field every week. And figure out the run game with Duke Johnson, and maybe drafting a guy by the name of Breece Hall out of Iowa State. Oh, we'll get there later. But, I think it's a doable thing, but if they're not careful, I think what the GM's possibly looking at here, this head coach they bring in, is do what we got to do to fix these pieces. If Tua still fails when you put it around him, well, we have 2 first-round picks next year, and we'll fix the problem.
Right. I also want to throw out there that the Texans is actually, I got a big radar on them as well. And rumor is saying that Brian Flores might be the head guy on this, because
Yep.
Brian Flores wanted Deshaun Watson, or that's what it said.
Yep.
He wanted Deshaun Watson in Miami, but it wasn't done. So with Brian Flores being in Texas, that just might, have Deshaun Watson say, maybe I'll stay. Maybe I'll stay.
It's true.
But also
Mm.
Hines Ward name is thrown into this picture in the Texans
I heard
as
Josh
well.
McCown got interviewed, and the Texans really want him as their head coach, but they want another team to interview him to make it a credible hire.
Right, exactly. The Jaguars, of course, like I said, Byron Leftwich, which is definitely like a no brainer.
Yep.
You're back in Florida. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be great for you. Todd Bowles as well, Buccaneers defensive coordinator. Again, that is just right across right across the plains. For him. Jim Caldwell, Bill O'Brien, Doug Peterson, and Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore.
So interesting enough, another one in here, Vance Joseph. I think Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, Gerard Mayo interviewed for the Raiders. And the Broncos.
I know Eric Bieniemy is getting some calls and interviews.
Yeah.
And then another interesting one, which I'm gonna keep doing some digging on this one, because if I can find something on this, more and more to lead to what's being talked about, then we might seriously see some crazy stuff. But there's already been an offer put in place for Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. They're pretty much giving him everything he wants, but he hasn't signed the deal. He hasn't accepted it. It's just sitting there. There are sources saying that he wants to return to the NFL, but it's going to be more than likely that he goes to the Raiders, which would make no sense to me whatsoever when Stephen Ross needs to be doing what he did in 2011, and he needs to be separating the ocean and allowing Harbaugh to walk down between the waves down to Miami to save the day. Because I'm sorry, but in my mind, I feel like that's the only person you're putting in. He's taking Miami to a winning season next year. Not in 2 years, next year.
So,
hey, wait, here.
You know what? I like Raheem Morris as Vikings head coach. And here's why. Raheem Morris is a very good defensive coach, right?
Right.
So with the talent that Vikings have, they don't really need to boost up their offense because they have the talent there already. So with Raheem Morris coming in, I think he will be great, in the Vikings, because their defense need a little bit of adjustment. They need a little bit of an adjustment, because their defense is good, but they need improvements. I'm not sure if Kirk Cousins will be there next season as well. So, with Raheem Morris coming in, they might be in play for a quarterback in the draft.
Yep.
So this is big things. I'm just so glad that there isn't a head coach carousel revolving in Washington with all the issues that we got.
Right.
I'm just so glad that there isn't no carousel in Washington going on. I'm glad we missed that mark, but right now,
I don't know why the carousel hit Miami, but it's BS. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, but why are we talking about quarterback carousel in the NFL? Let's talk about the draft choices, right?
It's an interesting draft. Choices. Very interesting draft. There's not a whole lot of good quarterback talent. This is definitely there's a deep wide receiver group coming out. You kind of have some hit and miss linemen, and you kind of have some good defensive pieces here and there. It's really going to be one of those drafts for the scouts and the people who really go deep diving on people, you're going to find those gems, and those are going to be the future stars. Let's get right to it. We've been already, getting into some. Excuse me. We've been getting into some draft, some pre-mock drafting. And I've gone through a couple here and there, but the one that I like the most, obviously, I've given you a nice picture of. Let's go ahead and there we go. Throw that up on the board. So Miami, first off, right now we have San Francisco's pick in this draft, so this could totally change. We gave our pick to the Eagles. So what I went ahead and did is I traded our 47th pick in a second rounder to Baltimore to jump up to 14 to solve one of the problems, which would be offensive line, the center position, getting arguably one of the best linemen in the draft, Linderbaum out of Iowa. And then a couple picks later, again, you're addressing the need, a tackle, arguably one of the best tackles in this draft out of Central Michigan. Go ahead and nail him. And then I went ahead and traded up because our next pick wasn't going to be till 100, and there's no way that I wanted to risk this person not being there. I've been a huge advocate for Breece Hall. I really feel like he's going to be that next big play guy. He's going to be that next star at the next level. He really was one of the best running backs in the nation in college. He just was at a university that no one really talks about. So I traded up with Arizona, kind of gave him I gave him a lot in my mind, but at the same time, it's Breece Hall. It's worth it. Miami needs a number one guy at the running back position. I think we're going to keep Duke Johnson, but I think Breece Hall and Duke Johnson in that backfield is going to solve your problem there. You continue to build that line. That's why I took those guys, in the first round there. Complement with Breece. And then in the fourth round, and you try to find another guy to help complement Jerome Baker because at times I just don't feel Landon Roberts does enough. He's a good run stopper, but he is definitely suspect in coverage, and I feel like this Troy Anderson guy could definitely be one of those steals in the fourth round who could turn into somebody. And then a late round edge rusher in the fifth round, Uwazurike. He's definitely has moments where he has shined and shown that he could be a dominant edge rusher, but it's just not consistent enough, and I think that's why he's going to slide to those later rounds. I think if he gets on a team with, some dominant edge presence, like an Ogba, Jalen Phillips breaking out this year, kind of some guys like that get into a good room, I definitely think he could be one of those good development projects. And then who knows what Miami's going to do at the tight end position. Who knows if we're really going to sign Gesicki back. Who knows if we're going to franchise him, who we're going to let go, who we're going to keep. Why not try to grab a late round tight end? Jelani Woods, tight end out of Virginia. He actually seemed to be rated pretty high. So obviously for the rounds available there. So I went ahead and nailed him. And who knows? Maybe that's what they do. Maybe not. I think that's kind of where Miami needs to focus this draft. You got to fix that line early, get a running back, and then try to complement your defense a little more to make sure you maintain the structure of that defense. If there's a good wide receiver available, there was another draft I had done where they showed, Mechie sliding to 26. If John Mechie's there at 26 and Miami doesn't trade up or anything and that's our pick, take him. Yeah, he's going to, take some time to come back and heal. But we need another wide receiver. We need another guy who's going to be dominant. I think Devontae Parker is about to be out the door, and I think they're about to rebuild this wide receiver core. So, if they're smart, they'll grab a young guy, build with Waddle, and interesting enough, I could see Miami going to get Jarvis Landry and bringing him back because Landry might very well be out. I could also see Calvin Ridley being on the move. There's going to be some interesting moves this offseason, and I think Miami might be right there in the thick of it.
Alrighty. I actually like this. One of the guys that really stood out to me was Bernard Ryman. He really stood out to me. I like him in Central Michigan. I think he's a very aggressive guy, and I think he'll be perfect as far as the tackle goes. He'll be a nice late first round tackle. I don't think that he will be taken up, by the 26th. So that'll be a nice steal for Dolphins. You're definitely addressing these guys. Another guy is Brees Hall, one of the top running backs that's in this draft right now. Brees Hall has done phenomenal in Iowa State. He has a bit of a size on him. He has speed. So it'd be great to add to that special running back core that Miami has. Very good draft.
Thanks, sir.
And I took the liberty of doing two types of drafts. All right, one draft is from the perspective of the Washington football team, of them just go ahead and just being aggressive. The other one is off the perspective of not giving too much with the not giving too much. Give me 1 second. It's like just playing everything safe, right? Some people might hate playing it safe, but sometimes this is what you need. So here it is. Here it is, my first mock draft. Number 11, we go Charles Cross. We address that left side of the offensive line. We move Charles Leno over to the guard. If Brandon Scherf decides to leave, he could fill in for Brandon Scherf. And then we draft Malik Willis, quarterback. I think he will fall. A lot of people say that Malik Willis is that Mel Kiper is saying that Malik Willis is the most talented quarterback in this draft. I highly doubt it. I think that Malik Willis has raw talent, and I think with he can go to a team that is improving their offensive line, which is what we do here inside of this draft and inside of the free agency. Malik Willis will be a great asset to Washington. Young guy who can sit a little bit and can learn a little bit and is not ready to start right away. He can sit out for like 6 games, and if we're ready, we roll him in, we ease him in with Taylor Heineke possibly being here next season. So we draft Malik Willis at 42, and then this is where it gets interesting for me. Is Kway Walker out of Georgia and the linebacker. We address this linebacker position. Give Jamin Davis some help there with Cole Holcomb. We draft Kway Walker. I like Kway Walker. If you guys haven't seen this Georgia and Alabama game, Kway Walker was the star of that defense. I like Kway Walker. He's very aggressive and is a ball hawk and has the speed of the safety and hits hard. That is the guy that I would love to have on this Washington defense, especially with the aggressive guys that we have already. At 109, we go ahead and get a wide receiver. Like you said earlier, wide receivers are very heavy, and I like this guy, Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati. Desmond Ritter's guy. I like this kid. He's a big body. He has that speed, and he also has sure hands. So I love the fact that he might can fall at 109. I pretty much doubt it because I think he's by far one of the most talented guys, one of the most talented wide receivers in this draft. But in this draft by the Draft Network, Alex Pierce is set to go 109. 188 again. We address this offensive line. We get another inside offensive lineman with Luke Fortner. I like Luke Fortner from Kentucky. He's a big guy. He has a nice footwork. There's some things that he can learn, but with the offensive line that we have that was ranked 6th by PFF, I think that definitely he will fit well with this offensive line. And last but not least, it's one of these guys that you kind of can't go from, right? Smoke Monday. It's a name that you just cannot. You just can't overlook. But Smoke Monday, if you guys know him, he's a safety out of Auburn. He's a tremendous ball hawk. He has hands when it comes to deflecting these passes. The only thing is he has lack of discipline. He got thrown out of 2 games in college, but things like that can change per the coach that you go to. And I think with him coming into Washington under Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, I think that, discipline wouldn't be an issue. I think discipline wouldn't be an issue, especially with having Jonathan Allen and Chase Young as your leaders and Landon Collins as well. I think Smoke Monday would definitely fit as a next good option, if we're not able to keep Bobby McCain on this roster. So I like Smoke Monday, so again, it's kind of a name that you can't overlook. It's kind of a name that you can't that you can't overlook. So that is my first mock draft. And my second mock draft is where I kind of go for what the fans wanted. So so here we are here. Number 11, we go Jamison Williams, right? Jamison Williams is injured right now, but I think he will be a nice steal because nobody probably draft him that high because he's injured, right? But I think that now, with having these guys, I think that Jamison Williams will be a nice addition to Terry McLaurin and DeAndre Carter and Curtis Samuels as well. So I think he will be the key piece, as a big baddie. Jamison Williams, again, he has that big baddie, short hands, and has that speed on him. So I think that definitely is going to be, something great for this wide receiver core. And then at 42, we got to go. I'm an Alabama fan. I love Christian Harris. Christian Harris, you guys seen this championship game, regardless of the loss. Christian Harris was that guy as on the other side of, opposite of Kway. Christian Harris. I mean, I don't really have to, shout out who this guy is. But Christian Harris is by far one of the best linebackers in this draft. He's very versatile, ball hawking, size of a safety, but speed is phenomenal. Tackles well. Also is a great signal caller as well. He knows how to get his defense in line. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Fred Warner in the sense of that leadership ability inside with that linebacker core. And I think that this is what these young linebackers that we have need from another young guy. 73, I'm going to go with Tyler Smith, right? We go with Tyler Smith as the inside offensive lineman. Again, we addressed that offensive lineman. We addressed the offensive line by drafting a guard who can definitely come in and can fill the role of Brandon Scherf possibly not being here. 109, again, like I said, we go defensive heavy this draft. So we go out and get Cam Taylor-Britt. I like the guy. Is a late round cornerback. He has good hands. The only thing is he has to do better with man coverage. He's a tremendous zone coverage guy. I like him, and I like this guy. Number 188. Again, I know you guys seen him in my other mock draft. Again, it's a name that you just can't overlook. Smoke Monday. Smoke Monday. We choose him at 188. And last but not least, my last guy is Devontae Price. I think he's going to be a steal inside of this draft. Washington fans, if you guys look at J.D. McKissick, how well he does with as a run blocker and as a pass blocker. Devontae Price is just that guy. He's a big guy, bulky guy, 225 pounds. Not the best speed, but he's definitely a third down back and third down option. So also, like I said, his pass blocking is one of the best in this draft. So I think that he will fall, and I think he'll definitely be a steal. So that is my mock draft for Washington right now. There's a lot of Washington fans that really wants to go quarterback first, but to be honest, for me, there's no quarterback who's ready to start in the NFL right away in this draft class. I think you're on mute.
I would say that you're right. There's not a quarterback here to get in this draft who's going to take care of things and do what you want him to do right now. With that being said, you're going to kind of either bite the bullet with Heineke, or you guys need to go make some moves for some of these other guys around the league who might be moving, such as a Derek Carr, such as potentially a Russell Wilson, maybe maybe Aaron Rodgers. There's going to be a
Mhm.
lot of moving quarterbacks and a lot of pieces kind of shifting around. So I mean, there's some things to look out for, but it's like you don't want to go get a guy, waste a pick, and then he's a bust 2 years later, and you're already moving on. Like, go get a guy that's going to help your team now. The quarterback isn't always easy to replace and find a winner. But it looks like next year and maybe the year after, we might have some better quarterback prospects. So
Yeah,
I think your fan base just needs to pump the brakes.
definitely. Like even there's a lot of NFL analysts and critics that says that this year's draft is very quarterback draft is a little disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not saying that these guys ain't talented, but there ain't no Joe Burrow or
Trevor
Justin Herbert,
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance. There's not these guys
There's
that
no
is in this
Tua.
quarterback draft. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. There's no Tua. These guys just aren't ready to be those guys from last season. They're talented. They're talented kids. I cannot express enough how talented these guys are. But um, these guys, coaching comes down to how great these guys can be
Mm-hmm.
on their first year. We've seen that with Trevor Lawrence, for God's sakes. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So, these guys do come in the NFL. It comes down to what coach that they have, and I think that this season, I don't think that there would be a coach that isn't fit for the job in any of these franchises. It really depends on which 6 or 7 of these franchises who are looking for a head coach is what kind of head coach are they going to hire, and that also plays into what quarterback is going to be with this coach. But like I said, there's a lot of quality guys in the coaches bubble that is looking to get hired right now, and the time is ticking, the clock is ticking. We're coming down to this draft, and I'm excited for it.
I agree. 100%. It's gonna be something special. This and the free agency this year is gonna be something to watch. Definitely gonna be a big one. And there's gonna be, like I said, a lot of moving pieces. This could totally change the landscape of the NFL and how we see it moving forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, it's time to switch gears. It is time for some NBA talks. All right. Um, it is the second half of the season, and now everybody is playing for a playoff spot. It's playoff contention time.
Mm-hmm.
So in the second half of the season, there's a lot of big trades, big name trades before All Star Weekend, which is the trade deadline.
Yep.
So we're seeing some big trades going on from now up
Ben
until
Simmons almost got traded already.
Yep, Ben Simmons almost got traded already. But one of the things that I do want to throw out there is the Celtics making a blockbuster trade with able to get Bobo, get Bobo on the roster. So that is a great addition and something that they really do need. So I'm all for it. Let's talk about this assistant coach. The assistant coach for the Brooklyn Nets blocked the pass against the Washington Nets game and left the stadium and the fans furious because the referee said that he didn't see it. To be honest, that was trash. I think that it definitely could have been reviewed and taken back. It just goes down to saying, how people say, oh, he didn't mean to do it, but he literally stuck his hand out there while the pass was being passed. So I mean, I didn't like it. I didn't like it, man.
I hear you. Anytime you got people on the outside, messing with a game. Excuse me. Anytime you got people on the outside, who are out on the court, and you're messing with the outcome of a play on the game, that ultimately decides the game, then there's serious problems. You go back to the NFL a couple years ago, you had the New York Jets guy trip the Miami guy running up the sideline. Like, this Just stupid stuff like that. There's no place for that in sports. It's like it's sportsmanship. You know better. You know where you're supposed to be. That's why there's lines on the sidelines and where you're supposed to be and where you can go and where you can't go. You know. So hopefully he's held accountable for that. One thing I will say about Washington, they are a good team this year, but they're very inconsistent at times. Like they had a hot start, and then they had kind of went on a little, little stud, and kind of were just slumping, and then they got back up, and then they slump, and there's no inconsistency there. I think they might have a chance to make the play in for the playoffs, but I don't know if they'll get there. We'll see. Like I said, they just there's too much inconsistencies there. LeBron, yeah, apologizing to the fans. I mean, what else are you supposed to do when there's kind of a conflict going on where Russell Westbrook basically says, Magic Johnson, you can say what you want, but we don't care, and you're in the LA organization, who's one of the greatest of all time. Like you got to understand Russell Westbrook, understand your place. But I also didn't think it was too bad of a comment. I mean, he could have been a lot worse. He's trying to find his place still. He's trying to fit in. He's trying to do everything he can to be a part of this team. And sometimes he tries to do too much.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to make it clear. It's an issue. It was an issue that I had with a few years ago when DeMar DeRozan got benched, and people didn't like the fact that he got benched. Listen, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say this. You are an NBA player, okay? This is Magic Johnson. He's a part of this organization.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just brush it off what he says, because you'll get benched. That's what you got to do with these guys. Bench these guys.
Yep.
Bench these guys. I don't care if we're down 35, because Russell Westbrook isn't playing. You bench this guy. You tell him, hey, this is the consequence for you acting out the way you acting out.
Yep.
But LeBron apologizing to fans again. Why are you apologizing to the fans? I mean,
they deserve a better product.
I mean, yeah, sure, but I don't make me a part of your pity party. Yeah, that's
fair enough.
That's what I took it as. I thought it was giving us an invitation to the pity party. It's like, listen, this is the NBA. You either do good and you don't. Right now, you're not doing good. Kobe, when they had that losing season, Kobe didn't say, hey, guys, I apologize. We aim to do better. No, you left that on the court. You leave that on the court. You don't go on Twitter and say, hey, guys, I apologize. I hope you feel sorry for me. We don't feel sorry for you, LeBron. This is the NBA, and this is what the game is made of. Suck it up and leave it on the court. That's just it. I hate to be that harsh guy, but
no, I hear it. Trust me, I get it.
You're apologizing for something that doesn't need to be apologized. What you're apologizing for, because you're known for being this championship caliber team. You went out to get this championship caliber talent, and you guys are failing miserably. You don't apologize for that. Okay? People might say I'm cold-hearted. Not you, but people who's watching this might say I'm cold-hearted, but it is what it is. I mean, and that goes for anybody.
Realistic facts here, okay? We're all about the facts. Oh.
I'm just saying, you don't see Jason Tatum going out here knowing that the Celtics can do much better with the caliber team that they got.
But this did come after they got dismantled by 30-some points against Denver. And, an historic franchise such as the Lakers should never be getting blown out by 30 on any God-given night. Same thing with the Celtics. They should never be getting blown out by 30-plus.
We just watched the Grizzlies put up 70-plus points on a team this season.
But that team, that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's not the Los Angeles Lakers. You're not talking about a team that has 15-plus championships,
Listen, whether it's 30 points to 70 points, this is the name of the game. You just have to do better.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about one of the most coveted, franchises in the league. I get where LeBron's coming from. When you're a Laker, there's a standard to this thing, and if you don't uphold that standard, you're not doing it right. And he understands that these guys are not upholding that standard, and he wants everyone to know that he knows that. And I think that's where LeBron's coming from. Could he word it different? I'm sure. But at the same time, your PR guys probably come to you with a million different things to say, and you got to pick one.
You know what? And you know what Lakers fans who wanted this apology sounds like? They sound like Steelers fans.
This is also true.
I'm calling you guys out. I'm calling you Steelers fans out. Listen, the way you guys try to run Mike Tomlin out for the last 2 years, and it's not Mike Tomlin's fault.
Hell no.
It's not Mike Tomlin's fault. Listen, I'm saying the same thing for LeBron. Lace up your sneakers and just keep doing better. It's the only thing you can do. We don't need an apology. We don't. Kobe didn't make an apology when you guys had that terrible losing season.
It's true.
Terrible losing season. Kobe didn't go on Twitter and say, "Hey guys, I apologize." There's no need for you to apologize. This is how the NBA goes. This is the NBA. Sometimes you win some. Sometimes
you lose.
Sometimes you lose some 30 straight. This is the name of the game. You either be better, put up, or shut up.
It's true. With that being said, I will say the Lakers have definitely had a midseason crumble. We'll see if they can get back together to make a kind of a stretch here of games thrown together to make a run down here to make it in. But they keep going the way they're going. They're going to find themselves looking on the outside of the playoffs this year, and that's not what you want to do when you have LeBron on the last couple legs of his career here. Moving forward, I do want to say that I kind of feel the same way with the Bucks, though. I feel like the Bucks are still trying to get over like this championship like hangover or something. Like they started out really slow. It didn't look like themselves. Took a while for Giannis to kind of re-solidify himself as one of those dominant players in the league. Chris Middleton was just not making shots early. That team was not looking good. They've kind of been slowly getting back to it. But, the team that really has surprised me the most out of this whole season, obviously, which should be said. If people don't say it, I don't know what you're watching. Chicago Bulls. That team is money when everyone's there. Currently, Levine is out with a knee injury. And I think Derrick Jones is out with a knee injury. Lonzo's out with a knee injury. Those guys hurt when they're gone. When they're there, I think the Bulls can win the East if they're healthy. They've proved it. They've proved they can be the best team in the East. That's a very good basketball team. And on any night, like I said, if they're healthy, they can do it. But right now, they're not healthy.
This is a 15-man team, man. This is why you had depth. This is why you have a bench,
They're playing without him. But, Zach LaVine's their superstar. You can't really replace that. DeMar DeRozan's a star, but LaVine's their superstar. He's their pulse. Lonzo's playing at a high level for that team. I think this is probably the best season of basketball for him, so I hope he can get back soon to continue it because he's playing really well. The Hawks, that's another team. It's a very talented team that's just kind of subpar in my mind. They don't really jump off the paper at me with things that they do. Trae Young is a flash in a pan at times and really bugs me because he shows he can be that guy, but he's not that guy consistently. You talk about the Mavericks. All they need is a dominant big man. They'll be one of the best teams in the West. But Porzingis is a glass leg, and Luka can't do it all.
Yeah, I agree. I actually do want to talk about this. Is that let's talk about this MVP race, right? I know it's still a little bit early, but I think some of these guys are really solidifying, this MVP run, and I think honestly it's very impressive that the top three guys are big men, right?
Yeah.
You got Nicholas Jokic. You got Nicholas Jokic as number one in the running for MVP. Giannis Antetokounmpo at number two, and Joel Embiid at number three. It's very impressive that these three guys is very efficient on their team. And without these guys on the court, these teams fail miserably. We've seen it often. We've seen it on and on. throughout the season. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, you know, I really like these three guys. And then we have going down the list, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, John Morant, Rudy Gobert, and LeBron James. Here's the thing. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't put LeBron James on this list right now as the top 10 MVP candidates. I'm just going to go out and I'm going to cross out James' name and I'm going to put in Devin Booker's name in my hat because I think right now Devin Booker is far more deserving at this MVP race as top 10 than LeBron James right now. If we're talking right now, statistically and consistently in the NBA, Devin Booker has been that guy.
I mean, LeBron's been popping off. He's the reason why that Lakers team is even still alive, though. So, I mean, I get why he's there. You take him off that team, and they're not a 500 team.
Absolutely right.
You
You're
know,
absolutely right. You know,
I honestly, I'd take Chris Paul off and put Devin Booker in place of Chris Paul. You know that Chris Paul's great, and he runs that offense great, but he's not the offense that you need. Who's Devin Booker? You know, I mean, he can make big shots, but is he going to do it all the time? Does he have ice in his veins to go down and just pull up in a guy's face? Not always. You know, that's Devin Booker. You know, I totally get where you're coming from. I think KD needs to be higher up on that list. I think John Morant needs to be higher on that list. I think Steph Curry needs to be up on that list. You know, up in there. You know, if we're talking about MVPs, it's Curry. Oh man, Curry, Durant, and probably Ja lately because of the win streaks they've been able to put together. Same thing with DeMar DeRozan. That man's making buzzer beaters and putting the Chicago over the top. You know, it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to come down to the wire, and we're definitely going to have to keep a close eye on this.
Yeah, I agree. Here's another bit of news. The Rockets are open to Russell Westbrook for John Wall trade for a heavy price. So can we see a reunion? Can we see a reunion? Something to think about. I mean, you know, it isn't clear, you know, how much of value the Lakers will value, you know, Wall over Westbrook at this stage, you know. But Wall right now has played only 40 games over the past 2 seasons, to be honest with you. So, you know, that's something that you really, really, really have to, you know, that's something that really
take into consideration.
Think about. Yeah, you know, are you going to really trade for this guy? You know, are you going to ship Russell Westbrook off just to have him off the team? I mean, the relationship has been toxic, as you see. So are they just going to ship him off, you know? Are they going to ship him off, or, you know, what they're going to do about that? You know, so honestly, I just think that, you know, as I said in the beginning of the season, this team is going to be toxic in the beginning, but if you stick with it, this team is destined for greatness. And to be honest, I see it. You know, I'm not a big fan of the Lakers. I'm a Celtics fan, so there's some rivalry there. But, you know, deep down, I think that, you know, that this team just need to mesh a little bit. You have a lot of loud personalities on this team, you know, with Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, you know, you got Rondo, you know, it's just a lot of different players that you're not used to seeing on one team together, you know. So, I mean,
True.
And people say, oh, but they played together in Team USA. That's different. You're playing for the country. Now you're playing for the fans. You know what I'm saying? You're playing for the fans. You play way more games in the NBA than you do in the FIBA. In the FIBA league. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, playing 84 games, you know, with these guys is much different. You don't really have to build a chemistry in the FIBA league. You know, you're just there to win the gold. You know what I'm saying? You have a goal there. You know, I mean, the goal is, here to win the NBA championship, but I mean, it's the stakes is higher. You know what I'm saying? So I think that
Not
you just
everybody
need
can
to
win
sit
the sprint.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. This Lakers team. Like I want to give it some chance, but I don't know how it's going to go. But I tell you two guys that I do want to talk about, and you might actually be you might actually agree with me on this, but guards of the future, guards of the future, LaMelo Ball and Josh Giddey.
Oh yeah, they're good.
I think just their size and
Future
everything.
stars.
Yeah, future stars. Combined like these guys. So Josh Giddey in 2020-2021, he averaged 32 minutes, 10 points a game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. Had a field goal percentage of 42, 3-point percentage of 29. LaMelo Ball has similar numbers. LaMelo Ball only played 12 seasons with this. Only played 12 games. He played an average of 31 minutes, 17 points average, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.6 steals, and 37.5 field goal percentage, and a 25% 3-point percentage. Listen, these guys are NBA ready. These guys was NBA ready.
Oh yeah.
And we starting to see this now, right? Like these two guys alone are, like you said, are the future in the NBA, and the future is bright for these two guys. Like I can't explain enough, how I like these two guys. These guys are very dynamic. They're balanced. You
It's
know,
true.
they're balanced. You get a little bit of everything with these guys. You get rebounds, you get steals, you get 3-pointers, you get field goal percentages. It's everything that you want in a basketball player. You find it in these two guys. And they are jumbo-sized guards, which I love so much. They are small forward sized,
Wow.
but in the guard position. So this is what I love about these guys. I'm excited to see these guys more.
Wow. Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited for the development of the young stars for sure. I just think that Oklahoma City hasn't been the same since Durant and all them left. They're just kind of there to. I don't know. I feel like they're just there to just a pile, a massive, or a stockpile of draft picks. Sorry, and salary
Yeah,
cap. That's like all they ever do. They don't ever do anything with it. Like, dude, go be aggressive. Go trade for some stars. Go bring in some star power to help these young kids and actually be a contender again. Like as soon as Durant and all them left, like you stop being a contender. That's a joke. Like
yeah.
I hate it. Like Giddy's good, but he'll get wasted away. That's kind of what happens in Oklahoma City. Mello. I love that kid. That kid is special.
I think Charlotte has a great blueprint of building a young squad.
Yeah, they got
You
everything you
know,
need to be a contender.
we see Sacramento try to do it, and I don't know what's going on in Sacramento. They got talented guys there.
Charlotte needs to go just get Buddy Hailed and add him to the roster, and then they'll be good to go.
Yes, definitely. I second that. I think that if Charlotte can go get Buddy Hield, I would even say Kearian Fox.
Yeah.
I think that team will be solid. I
Mm-hmm.
think they will be solid. I like it. I'm gonna call it on it. I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm gonna
put
put
that
that into
stamp.
my GM people.
I have my people call your people.
All right, all right.
You know, guys. Unfortunately, this is all the time that we have for you today. We want to thank you guys for tuning in with us. It's been amazing. It's been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys ready for next week as well. Next Saturday, we'll be live here. We will have Albatross here. And who knows? We might actually have a special guest as well. Yeah, we might have a special guest. Might be maybe a draft prospect, maybe another guy who want to give us their insights. Who knows? But this is the bird's nest, and I hope you guys are ready. Get your eggs ready and scramble them up. I am Magpie. This is Condor, and this is the bird's nest powered by Velocity Sports. You guys have a good night.
Take it easy.